Welcome to the Altcoin Hour, your weekly alpha. Yeah, we breaking down the charts, flipping bags, playing smart, from the dips to the moon shots, connecting all the dots. Let's get it. Altcoin
All right. Nice day to talk crypto. Welcome to the show. Everybody is doing absolutely fantastic. We got a lot to get to. Salute to you. Hope everybody's doing absolutely fantastic. And another hand clap, man, because it's rough. It's really rough out there in the crypto streets and in the real streets as well. Let me tell you, the war is it's taking a toll. We're going to look at how much money is being spent as well. We're going to get into some war updates. Couple of videos of Trump responding to not only NATO, but as well as his counterterrorism, the lead on this particular situation. This guy resigned and he wrote a letter, and the letter's not cool. So we'll get into that a little later. Now we got to talk about Bitcoin, obviously, cryptocurrency market review. We're going to go through all the altcoins, see what's going on, because Bitcoin is kind of giving back all those gains that you've seen in the last couple of days. We almost got up to $76,000. But everything is being given back. Everything is, Bitcoin giveth and it taketh away. This is the theme here this year, and it's taking away. It's in the actual cycle of taking back those gains. So I never trusted this pump. I like the actual TVL movement, especially with Monad, one of the darling coins that I really like. We'll get into that TVL push because it's pretty phenomenal for a chain that's that young, but we'll get into that and other altcoins as well. We're going to get into a lot of news. We'll jump into the stock market too as well. The oil situation is really interesting too as well, because we had someone put in a large, I think it was around $13.5 million short on oil. So someone knows something, and we know this is artificial suppression. We're literally running on reserves when it comes to oil. So when that corrects, I think you're going to see a rebound back down, and I'm talking backwards trajectory when it comes to the cryptocurrency market, stock markets, commodities, everything in the whole gambit. We're going to see a downtrend. So we need to get ready for this, because I think a lot of things are going to correct going into the late quarters of this year. So, and I think hopefully by December, a lot of this is going to kind of level out. Hopefully we're out of Iran by then and we can get some normality in these particular markets, and hopefully by Easter we can get Clarity Act passed, all that good stuff, the amendments to the Genius Act. And we're going to look at some Clarity Act actual news too. I'm going to bring you a lot of news, not only on the Clarity Act, but we're going to talk about these bank charters and how the banks are actually suing the OCC. It's not going very well. So, and I'm starting to think Charles Hoskinson was right with the 2029 aspect of approval. And I don't think we're going to see any more crypto ETFs until we get the Clarity Act. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the market report. We need to jump into this real quick. So this is what we're looking at here. All right. So, and we're going to get into a lot of news as well. We have some pretty cool news too when it comes to the SUI chain. Speaking of crypto ETFs, unfortunately, we're not going to get those crypto ETFs this year, especially without the passage of the Clarity Act, right? But it was pretty cool to see SUI chain, and there was a whole lot of more. I think it was like 13 that were added to a lot of baskets. So when we do get that clarity, when we do get these crypto ETFs launched, it's going to be a phenomenal situation for a lot of platforms. But the sustainability of the pump, I don't know, because there's a lot of people that are wanting to get out. The portfolios are red, and if I'm holding SUI or if I'm holding ADA and that thing pumps to over 30%, I think a lot of guys are going to take that money. So these particular altcoin ETF pumps are probably going to be met with a humongous sell wall. So, I want you guys to get ready for that. We're going to see some ATHs, but we're also going to see some big sells, especially on top with the whale group. You know what I'm saying? They're just going to try to take profits, especially if this happens in the middle of the war. If that we have a Middle East conflict that's still going, I don't know. It could be a mixed bag. So, as we look at the RSI, let's go ahead and get into these metrics. 57.1, that did come down from 63. We were in overbought territories. We're slightly away from that overbought situation. Currently, Bitcoin is sitting at 74,000. It's trying to maintain and get back to, 75. And you can look at this the actual substance, though, you have to really take into consideration there's very little retail motion when it comes to Bitcoin right now. It's all institutions. It's all Michael Saylor. He was basically saying earlier that there's just not enough Bitcoin for everybody. So he's trying to gobble it all up. This is essentially what MicroStrategies is doing right now, okay? Saylor basically came out and said he doesn't think it's enough. And he's right. It's only, I think it's under 1 million left. So it's going to take a while to get that, completely mined, But with that being said, he's right. That scarcity factors are going to kick in. It's really not profitable for miners right now. So you have a lot of miners that are selling. And if they're not selling their actual gear and getting all out 100%, they're just turning their machines towards AI. And I think that's a problem going forward. We'll get to that. 74,000 is the BTC price here. Big time short squeeze. We did see that, a couple of days ago, well over $300 million worth of shorts out the freaking door, right? We had institutional buyership buying the dip, gobbling up the Bitcoin because the long-term thing when it comes to, the funds and then Michael Saylor, all these institutions, all these large whales, they're long-term thinkers, guys. And what they're seeing is an end to the war, Clarity Act, acceptance, mass exposure, and then we're off to the races. So they're going to buy these dips. They can afford to buy these dips. So retail can't afford to lose their money because as you can see, you're looking at a bear flag. This is what everybody's saying, bear flag this, bear flag that. I'm not necessarily on that particular, boat because of the ETF vehicle. It's holding Bitcoin. It has held it over 59,000 for the entire time. So this particular pump, you see a lot of debasing. You see a lot of rotation from gold, unfortunately, because I love gold. But you do see that rotation out of gold into Bitcoin. You see a lot of stocks. Stocks are really shaking right now. You got a lot of stock portfolios that are converting into Bitcoin as well. So you have that rotation, that the fiat debasement is happening right now due to what's going on in Iran because wars create deficits, wars create inflation. Wars create issues with currency, especially with the actual reserve currency. This is what we have here. You have the actual actions of the reserve currency being threatened too. Iran is literally selling oil with the Chinese digital currency, with the yuan. They're taking yuan. They're not taking dollars right now. So you have that rotation out. So Bitcoin is actually enjoying a lot of that right now. It is experiencing a lot of influx due to the war, due to inflationary, pattern that's going to probably spike. I don't think the Fed is going to actually drop rates. They may even raise the rates because of the war effort. And I know Trump doesn't like that, but it is what it is. This is where we're headed to. Massive inflationary pattern, upward, not downward, especially if the war continues. So we should hear from the Fed pretty soon. I believe this week. So we'll see. I don't think they're going to go down on the rates. I think that whole notion is a fallacy. They would be completely stupid to cut the rates. And they never do during wartime. Normally they go up and then we have the inflation strike. So you have a big time situation in the job situation is crazy. You have all kind of actual unemployment situations and levels and percentages that are going up. You have a lot of, especially in the retail sector, in the service sector, lots of fast food restaurants are calling it quits. You have major outlets like Wendy's and, all those fast food places that you like to frequent. They're cutting stores. And I'm talking triple digit, nominal values here, triple digit number of stores that are going to be cut here. That's going to be a loss of jobs. So that's going to affect not only the stock market, but the crypto market, buyership. So when I say retail is out, I'm not joking. Retail is completely out of the ball game here. There is no retail. And if it is, it's very little when it comes to BTC. Now, we'll go through the whole, altcoin market countdown here in a minute, but I have to tell you, the Bitcoin situation, it's all institutional inflow. Very little retail. So when the institutions get scared and run, this is when you see these dramatic decreases in the percentages when it comes to the Bitcoin volume and when it comes to Bitcoin price points. This is why it dips so fast, because when the big boys pull out, when they get scared, they pull out a lot of money, guys, and they sell a lot of Bitcoin. So it is what it is. This is what we're going to be looking at. And you zoom out a little bit, it looks beautiful. It looks really decent. We did recover from the low point of 63,000. That was in late February. So if you're looking at it from late February already into the 17th of March, you're looking at a very, very bullish situation, but this is a very, very zoomed in depiction, of where Bitcoin is headed. You know, if you really zoom out a lot, you'll see what's going on. Very turbulent, highly affected by what's going on in the Middle East, and the fear is real. We are in overbought territory, slightly out of it right now currently to, you know, if you look at the RSI, but honestly, I feel like we're still in the overbought territory. So we're just going to keep watching, you know, with the Bitcoin. We're going to keep watching it, keep hawking it, and we'll get into the other altcoins because they are essentially riding the tail of this pump. This is what you see with Bitcoin. It's traditionally going to pull up the market. You have Ethereum at $200-300. Ethereum is up big by 12%. You know, there are some issues with the selling, but it's back big. It's following Bitcoin. You have DeFi. You have tokenized market as well. You have tokenized stocks. ETH is going to continue to maintain the number 2 spot. The only thing that I see that may knock ETH off is an internal situation that just goes completely bonkers, kind of like the Zcash situation. And I just don't see the foundation actually folding like that. So as long as they continue to upgrade, I think you have Glamsterdam. I think that's still on par too as well. ETH is going to be okay, up 12% within the week. XRP, $1.52. Some big time situations that are going on with XRP. Some pretty good inflow as well. That ETF, it did fall on its face, but it's still there. So when we do get clarity, I think that XRP ETF, and it's going to be implanted into a lot of baskets. I think that's going to really give this the particular coin, this cross-border agent, you know, coin, some legs to where it can get over $5. That's as far as I can go with XRP. I cannot go with the $100 theme. I cannot go with the $50 thing of coin. I just don't see it getting there. I just don't. There's too much competition out there at this point in time. But $5, especially when the ETFs, you know, the altcoin ETFs actually start really running. Yeah, I think that's very easy and very doable. But anything over $5, I just don't see it. BNB $671. You have a Solana 94, trying to get back to $100, up 6% on the week. Tron 30. Tron is actually above 29 cents, so that's pretty cool. But again, Bitcoin pulls all of the alts. You're not going to get an altcoin season. And I know you guys have been looking at the altcoin season meter. It's at almost 50. Don't get too wrapped up in that. Don't get too wrapped up in that because you're going to get trapped. We see these memes. Everybody's making a big deal about Pippin. You know, all these memes are going to go down. They were never going to stay up 100% because literally they're memes, you know. I think 95% of them currently have no utility. It's just community, and a lot of community, you have a negative community sentiment right now across the board, even with your top 25 altcoins. So, you know, be careful. If you're holding a meme, be very careful, because if we continue this trend within the year, when it comes to war, when it comes to all this tumultuous activity with stocks and oil, all the fluctuating values with metals, a lot of portfolios are going to be liquidated. And it is what it is. Don't get caught up with that. All right. Hold things with substance. Only hold coins and tokens that have substance. You know, DeFi tokens and coins that are actually tethered to RWAs and tokenized marketplaces. Right. You know, DeFi is where I'm at. And utility coins, blockchain coins with ecosystems, and formidable technology, new technology, not copy and paste. Right. Not redundant tech, new tech that's built for the future. That's what I'm holding. And that's what I like. And of course, I get yield too as well. Stablecoin yield. I'm still doing that, you know, until they take it away. And we'll get into the actual FDIC's thoughts on insuring crypto. Not good. Welcome to the show, Mom. I hope you're doing great today. I hope you're feeling well. We're definitely going to get into some Clarity Act news as well. We need to get that update out because, I'm even on it. I'm not totally bearish. I'm not totally bullish on it, but I like what I'm seeing. We'll get into a new fresh video too, an update, because there's a mad push. They're trying to get the Clarity Act done by Easter, and they're really pushing that. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Dogecoin, 10 cents, back over 9 cents. Hyperliquid, trying to get to $50, up 18%. That is a major perp situation, way better than Aster. And by the way, Aster has launched, they stealth-launched their mainnet. They actually have a chain now that's online and running. I didn't even know they were building a chain for Aster, so that's pretty interesting. I don't know what that's going to do to the platform. I think they actually listed Molina, which is a dead meme that has a lot of dead weight. So I don't know if that was good or not. Who knows? Who knows? but they did introduce, Molina into the fold. So you can kind of shorten along that. I don't know anybody who's longing Molina, but it is what it is, You got to do what you got to do. Cardano 88.28 cents is going to be for the ADA. You have some issues with Cardano in a major top decentralized finance protocol. I think it's the leading one in the ecosystem. Very interesting thing. Very interesting negative situation that happened with that DAO. And I got to tell you, if you ever seen a DAO go bad, that DAO vote was horrible. The team had an overwhelming amount of tokens that they basically used to manipulate that DAO. It was not cool. And I'm going to give you my take on that once we get to it, because I feel like the team, when it comes to governance voting, when it comes to DAOs, I think the team should be forbidden to vote during a DAO proposal. I think the team should be forbidden. I don't think they should be allowed to vote, because obviously most of the team members of most DAOs, they hold the most tokens. They hold the majority. So I think it's unfair for a team to vote on a proposal. That should be all community. There should be nothing but the community involved with DAO voting. No team members at all. It's disingenuous. I've seen DAOs go completely left, completely wrong, because the team's overwhelming presence. They tend to move the needle. And the community really doesn't. You don't get a fair vote when you got the team which holds the majority of the freaking tokens pushing the narrative. That's not cool. That's not governance. That's cheating. That's manipulating. So that's what happened with this protocol. And Charles Hoskinson is like, we need to do this over. So I believe that protocol is actually going to do the vote completely all over again. They're going to reset the vote and they're going to exclude themselves from it. So I think, I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing. Exclude yourself, team members. That a DAO vote should only encompass the community. That way you get an authentic result on proposals. That's just the way out to, and I think that's what they're about to do, and I think that's fantastic. It should set a precedence going forward. I believe. LMFG, welcome to the show. What do you think about what I just said about that, brother? Welcome to the show, by the way. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear.
Yeah. First of all, how are you, brother? Are you doing okay? And I want to get your thoughts on that Cardano situation, man.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Where let the teams go out there as almost like a politician and try to sell their thing, why you're going to do it or why you wouldn't do it, and hold them from voting on the DAOs.
Absolutely.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think any team member should be voting on DAO proposals. Are you kidding me? You're manipulating the vote. We've seen the same thing happen with crypto.com when they unburned those tokens. A lot of people call BS on that, but I'm telling you, that was true. That was very true. And the team overwhelmingly pushed that narrative. I didn't even think you can unburn tokens. That was really crazy. But anyway, I digress from that. That was crazy. We'll get into Charles Hoskinson's response, because he was very upset. And he demanded that the team redo the vote, fix the issue. And, as far as I know, they're actually doing the right thing, LMFG. They're redoing the vote and they're excluding themselves. So, hand clap to those guys, I think that was, this is what I've read. I don't know if they're going to actually go through with it, but from what I know, they're going to redo the vote and they're going to exclude themselves from it. So that's the way it should go. Team members, stay out of the DAO voting. You have no business voting. It's the community that needs to vote. So we talked about Solana trying to get back to $100. Now, we'll get to that Cardano response from Charles Hoskinson. Bitcoin Cash, $475. You have Chainlink trying to get back to $10. Monero trying to get over $400 once again, up 5%. And we'll stop at Canton at 15 cents. And let's go ahead and put Stellar in there at 17 cents in the OGs. I know everybody thinks Zcash is dead. I think it's dead too. I think it's finna go down to $100 pretty soon, but it is actually up 20%. You can thank Bitcoin for that, because this team is decimated. It's crazy what happened to the Zcash team. So we'll see if, things come back, hopefully it comes back. That's OG privacy protocol. I would hate to see that go away, Litecoin 58. This Litecoin, I think we're 50% down from that high. I think they went over to $100. So we're over 50% down. My God, this market is crazy. LMFG. You have AVAX, $10, back over $10. And then we talked about SUI. It's back over $1. So they're going to have their crypto ETF coming up if we can get some language in this situation. But LMFG, that's the market. RSI is below 60, brother. We talked about that. I think you missed that earlier. Fear and greed trying to get back to the neutral. So people are feeling the market. Do you trust the market, bro?
Not at all. Sit back, eat some popcorn, watch what happens. Like I said, and I hear you saying Easter by the Clarity Act.
Yeah.
If it gets tweaked, a lot of those amendments have to go away for him to sign it and for him not to veto it. We'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one. It really is. But we'll see. We'll see. You know, he's really pushing it, but he's got a lot on his plate. This war thing is like really dragging Trump down. You had we're going to get into the Iran war updates because there was a resignation that happened today that really shook the White House. And the statement in this resignation letter is heavy. Did you get a wind of that? Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't.
We're going to get into that because this really shook everything up. And a lot of people already, Joe Kent, he's out of there. And he really put a bomb in the office. He set a time bomb off with this letter. And it's not good. And a lot of people are like, I told you so. Yeah, we'll get to it. So we're looking at a bear flag, LMFG, and we'll leave it there. Bitcoin, $74,000. We'll get into some news too as well. You had Ethereum price outlook. Bitmine is like, okay, you know, we're going to hold off on the actual investments. You had Polymarket that was banned in Argentina. Did you hear about that? That's crazy. Completely banned. We already know we have a lot of states that are trying to get a Polymarket kicked out because they are running a gambling unit. We all know this is gambling. But they're running through these particular laws. There's a loophole that's in place that allows Polymarket and these prediction markets to actually operate without getting the proper license. So Argentina is like, you know what? Get out of here. We're not even going to play around with you. We're just going to ban you from the country. So, you know, that's a market that I don't know how large that was. But it was a pretty decent market. You had Dubai, actually. Dubai is in trouble. Did you see the real estate percentages? Did you see the price drops? Almost, 50% drop in the actual real estate, Dubai real estate? The war is not good right now for the Middle East, brother. Did you catch that?
No, another one I didn't. I've been tied up for the last week or so.
Yeah, man. You know, Trump is big on that. You know, as part of his platform, Dubai real estate. It basically collapsed, and obviously, this shouldn't shock anybody. So it is what it is. This is what we're going into. So I don't know, but I digress from that. Let's go ahead and get a TVL update real quick before we go into the Clarity Act news, and then we'll get into some Iran updates as well. Now, TVL was up crazy until this morning. Now, we're up 5%. I know Monad was killing it. Up almost 6%, and it's still doing great. Globally, we're back even now. And this, you know, decentralized finance is the core of cryptocurrency, but LMFG, the seesaw effect, the kangaroo market effect, is having a global effect on investors. People are tired, bro. They're either moving out, cashing out, taking a break, or just taking the losses, crying every night, looking at their portfolio. You know, the portfolio, the red in the portfolio is basically they're crying themselves to sleep. A lot of people put a lot of money into crypto, in stocks, and it's just not going very well. It's not going as planned. You're looking at $100 billion globally. We didn't move up, but we are retracting. Now, I bring up Monad because this is crazy work when it comes to Monad. It's even within a 24-hour period, but this thing went absolutely crazy. Welcome to the show. Tracy, hope you're doing great. $324.47 million with this TVL, with this new blockchain, LMFG. We love this blockchain. But I'm singling it out because it is outperforming everyone right now when it comes to TVL. And I'm talking growth versus the actual age of the chain in the ecosystem. And they just upgraded this thing. No. Monad 9 is actually going to be implemented and going live on the 19th. But, you know, just barely 5 months old, LMFG, coming out the block. Robust. What's your take on Monad, man? I'm very impressed. The TVL is crazy. Everything, they're making money. All the apps are making money, generating fees. The future looks really good for this. And there's some other ones too as well, but this one is a shining star. And I think it's a diamond in the rough, but this TVL speaks volumes, bro, for just barely a 5-month-old ecosystem. What's your take on Monad?
Yeah, no, I'm very impressed. I got everybody, all my friends and family. I told them to hit it. Yeah, the biggest thing to me is, again, I gotta say it, man. This is, in a way, Coinbase's baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Come out and say, "Hey, look at our first IPO." You know what I mean? Or ICO, initial coin offering.
Right.
Look at where it is now. and, and
It's extraordinary.
From what I'm seeing, is rocking and rolling.
So it's a skyrocket.
All those guys jumped ship, and then they went out and I forget what company they bought. You bought it up.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think. They acquired a massive team, bro. Massive team. Big time. What is up, Dib Travel? How are you, bro? 7064. What is going on? Yeah, I'm very impressed. As you already know, I'm trying to, and I'm not even shilling. This is just factual data here, man. This thing is killing it.
And it's just been floating at 2.5 cents almost the whole time it's been there.
Yeah.
So rock and roll.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Now when you look at globally, we're even, but some of these chains, I expect them to do a whole lot better. You're looking at Ethereum. It's even as well. It's the, I don't even compare any of the chains to it when it comes to TVL, because Ethereum is the grandmother of the space. This is where it started. Smart contracts, right? Everybody else is trying to improve it. And if you're doing a layer one, this is your competition. I don't take Solana as competition. I'm sorry. But Solana is formidable for what it does. I still see it as a meme chain, but there are tokenized stocks with Solana. As you look at that Solana TVO, 7.12 billion. But look at Ethereum's 59, almost $60 billion worth of TVO. No one's coming close to this anytime soon. So if you think Ethereum is going anywhere, trust me, it's not going anywhere. I will tell you, Arbitrum is really, really kicking it up too, kicking up some dust too as well. They're in their institutional phase. Big time. They actually flipped it in third gear. So, be mindful of Arbitrum. And I'll say this again, they just kicked it into institutional gear, third gear. They're starting to move. I think that's what we're talking 1 cent. I don't know if they're 12 cents right now. I don't know, 10 cents, something like that. Not trying to get you to go by ARB, but I'm just saying a lot of these particular altcoins are going to do some very, very special things. And I'm talking post language. So we're definitely going to get into that. Now we'll briefly go over here to the actual stock market before we get out of here, because this is absolutely relevant. LMFG. So what's your take on this, man? We know this is propped up by the Mag 7. By the way, we do have Nebus Group. This just entered, the 7 territory, down -7. Did they just launch this? It's called Nebus Group. Envy. Do you know anything about this? It's down 10%. It's my first time seeing this.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Very interesting. Tech is basically pumping the market. It is holding the market, guys. So you have S&P up 26 points. You have Dow Jones is up just a little bit over 100 points. NASDAQ just a little bit over 130. Futures are looking, the Nikkei looks bad, bro. But yeah, the futures not too shabby, not too crazy. So we have a stock market that's timid. You have Bitcoin that's kind of moving sideways at this point in time. The commodity side of it, Brent oil, 102 LMFG. Crude oil is moving back up close to 100 as well. I don't think, and what I'm seeing is a cracking, the actual suppression is starting to crack. We're literally running on reserves at this point in time. So when those reserves go out, LMFG, you're going to see a massive correction in oil. And I think you're going to see the stock market actually correct properly. We're going down. And then what happens to Bitcoin? This is the thing. That fiat debasement that's happened over there with Iran using the yuan, not the dollar. BRICS is really kicking in right now, right? China is winning. Russia is winning because of what's going on there. When this oil corrects to $150 a barrel, these markets are going to correct too as well. So if you're holding alts and Bitcoin, you're seeing this pump. I think a lot of people are looking at this Bitcoin pump and this stock market consolidation as exit liquidity. Am I right, bro? Or am I just going crazy here? Because I think a lot of people understand we can only run on reserves for so long.
Right. And I always say it too. It's right before summertime. People go on vacation. They need cash.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens here.
The bond market, 10-year is down. Right, that's good for mortgage rates. And mortgage rates are still well over 6. So, if you're looking to buy a home, you're gonna have to put at least 30% down.
Yeah, I just searched that average 6.1%, and that's what your 790 credit rating.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
yeah, and 20% down.
I mean, you got some people who are like, you know what, just forget about it. We'll just wait, right? Because if you're not paying cash, you're going to, like you said, 20, 25, 30% down. And that kind of simulates a better rate. The more you put down, the more you're going to simulate a better rate. I don't think we're going to ever get back to 3%, 2.5. We're never going to get back there. And I just don't see that in the foreseeable future, a 2.5% interest rate on a home loan. And don't get me started on the car market. Holy cow. LMFG. The personal debt and private credit, the BlackRock thing, the Blue Owl thing. There's so much there, bro. But that's another niche. I'm going to keep it with crypto, because if I start talking about private credit deficits and what the trouble that BlackRock is in right now, it's going to make you cry, because they hold a lot of Bitcoin. I think they're going to offload a lot of their personal holdings. And I think once they do that, the actual customers are going to, you're going to see that redemption thing within the ETF fund. And do they lock those ETFs up like they did their private credit market? Do they limit the outflow, LMFG, when it comes to the ETFs?
That will shoot themselves in the foot.
I believe it would too.
That would be all over. That would not be good for them.
No, I agree. It's something that needs to be actually talked about, man. But we'll save that for another discussion here. Let's go ahead and get a Clarity Act update. Let's go ahead and dump. What's going on, Tim? Welcome to the show, brother. Let's jump right into this Clarity Act update, because we're going to talk about bank charters. We're going to talk about this because this is a big deal, guys. You have a lawsuit that's pending as well when it comes to these bank charters. And there's some things that I didn't realize about these charters. There's some limits, LMFG, when it comes to these charters. No deposits, no lending. What good is it if a bank can't, take deposits, crypto deposits or whatever, because they're afraid of the cross mingling effect when it comes to regular account holders and crypto holders. No lending and no deposits. So why are we even doing it? You know what I mean? So we'll get to that. Let's get into the statement by this lawmaker here, and we'll get into the nuances of it.
We need U.S. guardrails, the type of guardrails that clearly delineate between commodities and securities, that clearly delineate between traditional banking and non-traditional banking. The rules of the road have to be clarified for the security of our financial institutions. That they're not unimportant in this debate, obviously. We have a wonderful legacy of diverse financial institutions, from credit unions and community banks all the way to the big ones. And so we need to look out for that. But we also, though, cannot allow digital assets and digital industry to go overseas, go offshore, lose that innovative edge that is clearly an American edge if we do it right. So I think Cynthia's right on point. Time is not our friend when we get much past Easter and get deeper into this political year. So I think we need to have the right guardrails. I think one of our banking committee members says it best. We know we did the right thing when they all dislike us the same. Yeah. And so we have to find that middle ground.
He's right about the offshore thing, and this is what Trump always talks about. We don't want all this to go offshore. We don't want to lose the edge, right? We want to be the crypto capital. LMFG, I think it's already lost, because if we're talking 2029, we've lost that. We've lost that race. What you take as we get into the nuances, because there's some things I want to point out here. Not only with the stalled effect of this particular act, crypto market, bill language, and the FDIC's approach here. They're not touching this, bro. What's your take on what he said and the actual offshore effect? Everybody's like, you know what, screw this. We're gonna go where Micah's already implemented. That way we can get going with our agendas.
Right. And a lot of those countries, like I said, we'll go back a year ago, they were all offering these companies, like they were all over Ripple. Come to us. We'll give you a free building, tax free. They want to bring them in. Mm-hmm. And they got to change their language, because you heard him say traditional banking to the new banking. Right. What he should say is fractionalized banking to fully reserved banking is what the digital assets, what the digital will do, the crypto. And that's what's got to be pushed out there, and for the public to hear and see and understand, fully reserved banking. You won't get somebody like BlackRock to say, no, you can't sell. You can only sell 5%.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what's going on right now. And I'm not sure where this is going, because I believe there's a whole bunch of them now signing up on this thing. Because, what is it, Diamond, Morgan, and they're all saying, well, if you want to be a bank, go ahead and be a bank. So the OCC approved like 5 or 6 of them to be chartered banks. Mm-hmm. Even Fidelity Digital is in there. And
yeah,
Ripple,
I saw that.
Circle. Yeah. And now they haven't pulled the trigger, but they're contemplating. They have a memorandum out. All these banks are signing up on it. They want to sue the OCC for letting them to be banks. You can't. It's so funny. I can't get over that. I really can't. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into it because
I say the banks are going to lose. I got one of my buddies telling me.
You think so? Yeah.
My buddy's telling me there's no way, they're not going to let it happen. I'm like, well, it's going to be there in the public. You're going to see the numbers. When everybody starts showing it and seeing it. We'll see what happens. I say trillions of dollars are coming into this asset class over the next year or so.
You're
At
probably
least double
right.
where we are today. 7 trillion, easy. We'll see.
Well, here's the thing. The guy that's running this, he's an ex-crypto executive in the banking industry. This committee is saying that there's a conflict of interest. We totally understand why this is being fast-tracked. He's a crypto guy. He's compromised. He has an agenda. I totally get it. But we need some language, and I want to get into it. I'm trying to pull something up here. I will tell you, I agree with you, but I think this is misplaced. The whole part of it, I think it's misplaced. I think the actual angle where they should go, and there's a headline. Check this out. French Hill says Clarity Act could fix gaps left by Genius Act. This is the direct opposite of what is being said by the banks and by some actual people in the Congress that are against it, like Senator Warren. She's basically saying the Genius Act is very advantageous for World Liberty Finance. For USD1, it's tailored for it. It catapults it. It's interesting, bro. So I want to get into the actual nuances of this because, and I'll pull this up here. You talked about J1.
All the stable coins. It catapults everything.
Yeah.
It's everything crypto. Everybody say.
So, let's get into this. And you talked about here's the headline. JP Morgan Clarity Act mid-year. Okay, sparks H2 crypto rebound. So we may get into that, but I want to pull this up while we're talking about this, because here are some things that we need to understand what's going on now. This is, we're talking about the Clarity Act, Digital Asset Market Clarity Act, HR 3633. Okay. This was actually put into play in May of 2025. We are almost in a full year of debate. We're almost there. We don't want to get to a full year. We're trying to get this passed. But just mind you guys, this is a May 2025 actual entry with this situation. We know the House passed it 2025. We're just getting a little history here. 294 over 134. It was a bipartisan situation. The House passed it. Now we know the Senate completely stalled it out and said, you know what? Screw your version. We're going to do this. So the Banking Committee comes in, gives us multiple markup delays. And that was in September 2025. Now, what's blocking it right now is stablecoin yield rewards, LMFG. Just like what you were talking about. This is what's stalling it out. And I think there are some things with the Genius Act that they want to bring back to as well, but specifically the Clarity Act, because this is the main language that we need. They don't like the yield and rewards. And, ABA, JP Morgan, etc. They want a total ban on this LMFG, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. They don't want to compromise. There's no compromise, and Trump wants to compromise. He wants Brian Armstrong and Ripple executives, which Ripple doesn't give two shits. They already have their clarity. They can go offshore and they're good. RLUSD will soar. XRP will soar. They're completely compliant outside of the United States. So they're just kind of eating their popcorn and watching the show. Welcome to the show, Olivia. Olivia says, which AI coins are you going to buy? AI is really shaky right now. I like virtual AI, not financial advice. Look that up, check that out. Because of the platform, it's an ecosystem. It's an AI marketplace. They already have all that built out. I like virtual AI, I really do. There's some other ones too. We'll make a member video on that, and I'll do a member post. I'll give you my take on that to the members there. But welcome to the show, Olivia. Here's the thing. The crypto deposits and the yield reward. The banks are like, this is going to steal our customers, LMFG. Now, we're talking about the giants, Coinbase, Ripple. They're saying these guys are going to steal our customers. They're going to give our customers yield that we cannot compete with. We can't do 4.5%. We can't do 5%. We just can't do that under our specific conditions. We're constrained. Our deposits are low. People are running. We have mortgage deficits. Because, a lot of these banks do internal mortgage loans to their customers. They do private and signature loans, LMFG. The defaults are crazy. So the banks are they're strained. So they can't give these outstanding yields. In fact, they're reductive, interest rates. They're reducing them. I think they're sub 1%. Am I right? I think, I know some credit unions.
Yeah, I think average is like somewhere around 0.6%.
Yeah, who in the hell is going to, come on, man. So they're looking at DeFi and they're like, man, we can't compete with that. We got to ban it. If we can't beat them, we can't join them. So we got to kill them. This is what's up. This is what's going on. So yeah, Coinbase and Ripple, big, huge situation. Ripple's getting the charter. We'll get to that as well. They're basically saying, if this does not pass, we're out of here. We are going to flee offshores, and the U.S. dominance is going to be handed over to Hong Kong, EU, and Asia. LMFG. This is what the retort is. Hey, if you're going to let the banks win, if you're going to let them kill this situation, you're going to take yield away from us. We're out of here. We're going offshore. We're going to Hong Kong, going to the EU. We're going to Asia. We're going to take our business elsewhere. This is why Trump is pissed. This is because it really hurts World Liberty Finance big time. It hurts that stablecoin big time, USD1. But the White House is floating compromise, as we know. Banks are like, you can go stick it where the sun doesn't shine, Trump. We're not hearing it. We're not compromising. This is where we're at. It's like two kids at the table fighting over a lollipop. It's crazy. No compromise. It's all battle, So we did get Trump publicly blasting the banks, basically telling them to pass it down. So you have a threat of offshore movement, LMFG. And you talked about this, man. You talked about this so much. And this is what we don't want. Now, here's the current status of the Clarity Act, all right? So you have the White House and the CFTC actively pushing a Easter deadline for this particular language. And we just heard the congressman here, the lawmaker, recently, and you have Cynthia Loomis. They're really trying to push this. You have Senator Warren. She's doing her thing as well, saying we're not going anywhere with this. In fact, we need to bring the Genius Act back. And oh, by the way, we need to invest Binance. There's an active investigation into Binance. Did you know that, bro? Cynthia Warren, Senator Warren, Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, you have Rumenthal, you have a lot of senators. They're actively investigating Binance once again. This is ongoing. So Binance is not out the water. Binance can actually find themselves in the same predicament that they did a couple of years ago. I don't know if CZs are going to be involved in this, but it's really crazy. What's your take on that? Did you know that?
But I thought a while ago, right? The SEC dropped one of the things on them, and so now they're going with something else.
Well, they're talking collusion. They're talking.
There was a lawsuit against them that they got dropped a month or two ago, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But this is a totally different deal right here. They're bringing up.
Exactly. Yeah, they're digging elsewhere, and they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep doing it.
Right.
So that Clarity Act is in place. It's because there's no regulations right now.
No, absolutely, yeah.
It's ugly.
It's Wild Wild West. There's so much for them to pluck at because it's still Wild Wild West, brother. I mean, look what they just did with Aster. They just basically deployed the Molina meme coin on Aster. By the way, they Steph launched their blockchain too yesterday. Who's going to short or long Molina? I don't think maybe you can get away with a short. I don't know. It's down like 90%, over 90%. That was weird. Them deploying that particular coin. And then here comes the Stellar blockchain. So, but the Elizabeth Warren law, this probe is different. There are some issues with Iran, the money going through there, a lot of sanction, mischief. They found some more of that, some evidence of that. The investigation team, they wanted to actually put out the report. You remember Binance fired and, basically excommunicated that internal team that had all the goods. Now, apparently they're, bringing that back into the fold, talking to those people. So Binance is in trouble all over again due to the fact that there is no regulation. There's no safeguards. There's no clarity. So a lot of entities are still operating in gray areas to where they can be attacked because there's no clear language. No one right now knows what's right and wrong. The market is just floating. DApps are floating. Crypto, SEX, central exchanges and decentralized exchanges, they're just floating. They're just doing their thing. They don't even know what they're doing is wrong. If they're doing something wrong, nobody knows because there's no clarity. So these lawmakers could really undercut you right now. They could really kick you in the balls right now. And they can pretty much put anything on you because there is no clarity. It's Wild Wild West, So the Senate banking markup was rumored to be actually put into play, and we may get passage in the next few weeks or by Easter, right? So the committee must clear this by the end of April or it is done, LMFG. It's a wrap. So we don't get clarity, if we don't get a commitment or passage by the end of April, it's a wrap for the 2026 season. So yeah, prediction markets like Polymarket are saying, giving it a 50 to 75% chance of passage this year by April. Ripple CEO says 80% passage by April. I don't think we're going to get passage. And I'm going to tell you, if they ramrod this through through April, if they ramrod this through Congress, it's not going to be a good bill. It's probably going to clamp down the market, and a lot of, you may see some devs, go to jail next year. I mean, it's going to be weird. It's not going to be good language, is what I'm trying to tell you right now. They actually are currently trying to retrial the Tornado Cash devs. Right after the CFTC, I think it was the CFTC, one of the agencies actually cleared them and actually basically came out and said crypto mixers are legal. They are okay to use as long as there is not any illicit activities. It's okay to use crypto mixers. It's okay. They came out a couple of weeks shortly after that announcement. You had the Tornado Cash situation come up again, and the senators are going after trying to bring those guys back to court. They're trying to rehash this whole situation. So I'm pretty sure they don't want the mixers to be, legal for us to use. I totally get that. It's hard to actually have oversight with a mixer. It's hard to police that situation because of the nature of a mixer, if you know what I'm talking about. LMFG, what's your take on that? Those guys, I'm pretty sure they thought they were done with the court systems. I think one of them actually went to jail. Just to see this come back up for the Tornado Cash, devs, and this whole situation to be rehashed shortly after crypto mixers were deemed legal activities. It just tells you, man, that not only the banks are still running this and they're still lobbying hard, they're still pushing the money, the Disney trips. They have total control of Congress right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's actually pretty damn ugly, and that's what they're saying right now. They're in the hundreds of millions of dollars, the bank lobbyists over the last couple of months that they're spending down there. Oh, we'll buy this vote for you. We'll get this vote for you. It's so ugly.
We'll put the kids through college. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. You want the boat, we got the boat. You want to go to Morocco, we got you. You just pass that bill. You do what we say. Do what daddy says. Money talks, bullshit walks. That's the saying, right?
Man, it's so horrible, right?
It really is.
When I was younger, I was like, I wish we lived on a barter system. I'd be one of the richest guys on the earth.
Yeah, I'm telling you, yeah.
And now I'd be poor as hell. I can't even lift up 10 pounds.
Oh man, yeah, I hear you, brother.
You know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Crazy.
This is the life we live, right? You know, it's extraordinary times, right? You know, it's a hell of a life. You know, ups and downs, disappointments. You know, proud times. You know, embarrassing times. This is life. It's exciting. You know, I wouldn't trade it for anything. You know, life is life, right? You make it the best that you can. You know, and you live. But right now, it's crazy. Life is crazy right now, and I think we're going through an awakening period, right? You know, I think this is an enlightenment period as well, Age of Aquarius, I believe. So we're destined to go through some wild swings. You know, the energy is crazy. The sun is crazy right now. There's so much going on in the ether. So we just need to buckle up. So when back to the, I got a little carried away with the metaphysically, but back to the Clarity Act. So the prediction markers are saying, we're going to get it. Ripple is saying, we're going to get it. Don't worry about it. I don't think so. So the market reaction, yeah, BTC and ETH targets have been cut in half due to this bank delay. So it's going to affect the market. So bottom line, the House is done, but that actual bill was killed. The Senate is deadlocked because of the stablecoin interest rates. And, bank charters, we're going to get to that. That's crazy. Trump versus the bank lobbyist equals stakes poker, high stakes poker. This is the sentiment, right? So we'll see what happens there, guys. Now, I want to shift to this because this is crazy. I just got this fresh. I compiled all this for you guys, and check this out because I know a lot of you guys don't understand what's going on with the FDIC and with fintech, with these crypto and fintech charters, these bank charters, and the banks that are basically saying, oh, hell no. You're not going to walk up into our arena without any type of regulations. You're not going to come up here with your 6 shooters and your cowboy boots slinging all this crypto and this DeFi applications and all this great yield without being regulated. This is what the banks are saying. So you talked about the lawsuit. We're talking about the OCC office, the Comptroller's of Currency office being sued. This is what's up. This is what's going on with this. Now, the Bank Policy Institute, which is BPI, they're lobbying for 40 banks, LMFG, 40 top banks, JP Morgan, Goldman, Citi, etc., actively weighing a lawsuit against the OCC. Crazy work. Did you know it was that many banks?
No, but expect it.
40 freaking banks. Ridiculous. And I'm going to go back. Hold on. Let me go back to this because I got to put his picture up because Donald Trump is championing all of this. A lot of his legacy is riding on this crypto situation. He got a large portion of the crypto vote, guys. A lot of his legacy is riding on this. And, we didn't know the Iran war was going to pop off. That was a monkey wrench. That kind of messed the gears. It was like throwing a wrench into the gear system. Everything is deadlocked, but I digress from that. Check this out. So we have that lawsuit that's being weighed against the actual Office of the Comptroller of Currency, OCC. Now, this was triggered by Jonathan Gould's actual appointee, Trump's appointee, ex-crypto executive. The banks are really pissed off about this guy being on track and basically being ahead of this. And they're saying this is a conflict of interest. Of course, he's going to approve these charges. He's a crypto guy. Of course, he's a crypto. If I'm a crypto president, I want crypto guys. I'm going to appoint crypto guys. I want to push this agenda. If I got millions of dollars from the crypto bros, I got to get as many crypto friendly executives in position to move the needle to get this approved. And this is what he did. The bank's like, no, we need to hit the brakes on this. This is unfair to us. We have no pull. All we got is money. All we got is a BPI, and we're going to push it. And as you know, money moves needles. Money is the greatest corrupter. We are weak to it. It's crazy. So that particular fast track to national trust bank charters, this happened in December 2025. Now, batch approvals and conditional, oratory statements were given out to Circle, Ripple, Paxos, BitGo. I bet you didn't think BitGo was trying to get a bank charter. There you go. Fidelity, digital assets groups across the board. Crypto.com, Revolt, all applied and got full charter application approval. World Liberty Finance as well. Donald Trump, his darling. He's filed for the app as well. The banks are like, oh, hell no. This is not going to happen. Now, they're providing a lot of information, and they're actually prepping a major lawsuit against the OCC. All right, they're trying to stop these charters, along with the Stable Coin Act, along with the Clarity Act, all the crypto market bill. They're trying to stop it all. This is the bank's last fight, last stand. Now, these charters give nationwide operation plus custody, trust, payments, powers, all that good stuff. We're talking stablecoin reserves and tokenization with federal preemption. But the only thing that they don't get, LMFG, and I want your take on this, is deposit and lending abilities. What's your take on that? Because I didn't know they were restricted. I didn't know there was any restrictions there. They don't get deposits or lending capabilities. What good is this charter? I'll give you this. Why does Circle and Ripple want these charters if they can't, garner deposits and lending capabilities? Why would I even go here? Why would I waste my time?
But I do believe there's language in there. They can use third parties.
Okay.
Right? Am I correct on that? I'm pretty sure that. So let's say Binance or Coinbase or whatever, they'll use a third party for lending and borrowing.
Okay.
And they'll be the custodian.
Okay.
I'm not positive on
that. No, you're
that.
right. I just wanted your input on that because
there's so many amendments compared to where this thing was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. That's when they should have passed it. And then they can sit there and fight afterwards. But the banks got in there. They were probably having this all lined up 5 years ago, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And they're out there saying it's all a scam. It's no good. They're buying it. They're building. They're buying into, investing into the mining companies. Hell, Fidelity's been mining this Bitcoin since 2014.
It's been a long time. Yep.
Fidelity's the only one. If you notice, none of their executives, never said anything for the last 10 years. And yet you had JP Morgan, Diamond, and all the other banks. It's no good. Bank of America, they're all screaming. It's all scam. And here we are. And now, they're buying into it. And Lounge, I'm telling you, if they deny ETF withdrawals, that'll be it. I hope they do in a way.
You know what? I think it's coming, bro.
It'll be ugly. You watch, because you're going to see a lot of chatter out all over the place, and the news channels are going to have to follow through with it and start putting it out there, saying this is how the banks are robbing you, and this is what crypto can do for you. And remember, I think it's Ellison. He bought CNN, right? Yeah. So we could have some changes.
Hold on. Did it actually go through? I think it's been contested. Did he actually purchase it? No, I don't know. Did he? I knew he was going for it. I don't know if it's a done deal. I thought it was being contested. I know the Netflix thing fell through. I think the Netflix thing was huge. I think they backed out. I think they ran out of money. So I think they lost that bit. But I don't know about the Ellison situation. I thought it was being contested.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't hear that, but
I could be wrong. I've
seen internal things. Everybody like, we're screwed. I'm out of here. I'm quitting. You gotta laugh. I mean, it's like the same thing like Musk buying Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see what happens.
We pay good money for it. If I was the previous owner, I'd have been like, come get it. You can have this shit. Put the money where your mouth is, right? So,
and he did. It was like over 40 billion?
It was a lot. Dorsey is so loaded right now. He's a smart man. Why hold on to something that's a headache? I don't see. But Elon's really did some cool things with X, with the former Twitter. He did some cool things. So very, very cool. Very cool. I heard Blue Sky is going to basically convert themselves to Twitter. They bought the rights to the logo and all that shit. So I think it's still called Blue Sky, but apparently they bought the rights. They successfully secured the rights to the Twitter logo and the domain and all that stuff. I don't know if they still have the domain, but I know the logo, the logo. I'm sorry, not Lego. And I was shocked that Elon didn't secure that logo, but he's doing a great job. barring all the glitching and the algorithm that's very, very crazy. You got to be very careful with you. You can't look at, your feed, look at something weird too long, because it's like Grok knows what you're looking at, and then your feed is all polluted with BS. So the algorithm is very sensitive on X, formerly known as Twitter. But I digress from that. So this is what we're looking at with this lawsuit thread. All right. So it hasn't been filed, but they're gathering information. I think they're going to actually do this. And there's more stalling there. Now, you mentioned third-party action when it comes to the deposits and lending. This is exactly what fintech is doing right now, LMFG. This is what you have in fintech currently, the third-party situation. So you don't see PayPal directly doing lending and borrowing. PayPal Bank doesn't exist. It may exist in the, pretty soon if this lawsuit fails. But at this point in time, they're doing third party as well when it comes to deposits and lending. So you're right. This already exists in the real world. So, why are the banks furious? So regulatory arbitrage is what's going on here with these charters. This is what the banks are saying. Crypto gets bank-like perks without full supervision. You've said this. They don't want that. They think it's unfair for crypto entities like Ripple and Coinbase and Binance to get bank-like perks without full 100% supervision. Capital rules and customer safeguards. They need to go their route, just like we did. It's not fair. This is where the banks are coming. And I agree. I totally agree. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, the direct threat to the customer revenue is what's crazy, because that's not the crypto entity's fault that you failed as a bank to secure your customers' integrity, to secure that exposure, that loyal usership. Is not the fault of the crypto industry. It's not the fault of Coinbase that you failed to do that. It's really not the fault of the yield. Now, the yield is very enticing, and I'll tell people about it. And they're like, when can I do it? How can I do it? Well, you can't do it now at your bank. You're going to have to migrate to DeFi. And they're like, whatever, I don't trust it. That's where you are right now. So I don't think the banks have anything to worry about, because their loyal customers are not going to go to DeFi. They're scared of it. Most people, the majority of the people that I talk to, I show them pictures of the UI and these wallet UIs, and I explain to them how to purchase and, convert. They're like, get out of here with that, Michael. I'm not finna do that. I don't trust that. I don't even know what the hell I'm looking at. So there's that, issue with simplicity that doesn't exist in DeFi for the normies that are coming from, trying to migrate from their brick and mortar situations, their Wells Fargo's account, their Capital One accounts, not Capital One, but what, Citibank accounts, shit that they're used to, walking in and talking to the bank teller, that OG shit, converting and transferring and going from that into DeFi. It's scary for a lot of people, especially if they're in their 50s and 60s and 70s. They're just not going to do it because the shit is too complex. So with that being said, I don't think the banks have anything to worry about, LMFG. Am I wrong about that?
No, not at all. That's just, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't think they have anything to worry about, but they're saying all this is going to steal their customers. And they're claiming the high yield is going to steal their customers. I don't think they have anything to worry about. I really don't. So this is completely backed by the ABA, talking about the community banks, ICBA, state regulators, CSBC. They all warn of systemic risk because there's weak anti-money laundering actual infrastructure with these entities. And they're right. It's very half-assed. This is going to cause customer harm. This is the retort. And they say the OCC bypassed proper rulemaking, which they did. Let's be real. Because we have Jonathan Gould, which is an ex-crypto executive. He's fast-tracking a lot, and he's skipping a lot of the checks and balances just to get these charters through. So they're right. They have a lot of evidence, LMFG. I think this lawsuit has merit. It really does. There's a lot there that I agree with, because I want the entities, I want these charters to go through. I want the Clarity Act to go through. I want everybody to have access to yield. No one should be blocked from this magnificent decentralized finance yield. But there has to be some type of language that is going to prevent or put in place safeguards, capital rules, supervision, oversight, just like the banks have to do. I believe that should be done. And if Coinbase is disagreeing with that, then that's not cool. You can't run into a OG situation, and expect to not be regulated. Come on. Get the fuck out of here. Come on. So Here's the FDIC's approach. The FDIC has clearly came out and said, we will not insure these cryptos or the fintech entities as well as stablecoin activity due to the high risks. The FDIC has come out recently and said, we're not doing it. I'm sorry. We can barely handle what's going on in the real world. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? We're not insuring crypto or these fintechs. We're sorry. This is what the FDIC is saying. And I totally understand. So the chairman, Travis Hill, on March the 11th, he said this in a speech this month, guys, just, a few days ago. All right. Explicitly with the upcoming rules, payments, and this is kind of excerpt of what he said. Payment stablecoins are ineligible for passing through deposit insurance, guys. Even reserves at insured banks will not be actually covered. Crazy. So if these charters do go through, even these reserves within these charter banks, these charter crypto entities will not be, insured. And we're talking about proven reserves or paperwork. Nah. FDIC is like, nah, we're not touching it. We're not touching it, guys. We got enough on our plate. We're sorry. Way too risky. That's a big problem, LMFG. That is a big problem because and they can't fake it either. They can't give you this Coinbase $10,000 crypto. That's not FDIC, guys. These entities are going to have to come up with their own insurance platforms, their own in-house insurance. They're going to have to come up with it. And I think the Clarity Act is going to actually give them some actual limits on how high the coverage is going to be. I think it should be well over 100,000. I think they should mirror FDIC. 250,000, I believe, is the ceiling for the FDIC. Now, they did raise that ceiling a couple of years ago when Signature Bank failed. But that was because there was a lot of large corporate entities that were wrapped up into that failure. So they had to raise the ceiling. Or a lot of bad shit would happen. So I get that. So in extreme situations, the FDIC does raise the coverage insurance. But there has to be a catastrophic event. And that's what happened when you had the failure of Signature Bank. And there was another bank as well. So the chair is like, we're not covering any of this. So the GS Act reinforces this as well. No marketing as FDIC insured. You can't fake that you're insuring. You can't fake it. Either you are insured by the FDIC, or you're not. It's that simple. Don't fake it. So this is where we're at, LMFG. Fintechs are going to be forced to use charters instead of full deposit banks. Third parties, essentially. This is what the FDIC is saying. Don't even look at us, guys. The FDIC is saying, don't even look this way. We don't want no parts of this. We're good. So this is what's going on, guys. So bottom line, the incumbent defense is high tension. This could spark a real lawsuit in weeks. It's going to delay the charters and possibly fuels offshore pressure, plus a Clarity Act deadlock. So we just got to watch the BPI and see how this moves. Okay. And we're talking about the Bank Policy Institute. Keep track, bookmark it. I think they have an X page. Keep track of that if you want to keep track of what's going on with this language, because it's not going anywhere. So the OCC is pushing pro-innovation. This is what Trump is saying. And they're trying to boost the legitimacy of not only the custody of crypto, but the crypto infrastructure. So we can get the crypto capital. We can get the US being the crypto legionnaire, the crypto leader. This is what's up. It ain't happening. So in a nutshell, we're spinning in a rut, LMFG. We're not going anywhere. What's your lasting take on this before we move on to the Iran war situation? And we're going to get into some Trump statements, the resignation. We got to talk about that. And we're going to get into the cost of it and how it's affecting the market. What's your take on this whole language, this massive kerfuffle with the Clarity Act, FDIC, basically saying fuck off. It's crazy. These charters, I didn't understand a lot of it until I really dived into it this morning. It's not good, LMFJ. What's your ending take on this?
Right. I would say with insurance, there'll be insurance. It'll just take a little time. And if I was one of the auditors, the crypto auditors, that's what I would be looking into. I would be reaching out to the AIGs and UBS and, all these big boys in the insurance business, because you're talking fully reserved. And as long as that code can't get hacked, And then you'll see, I believe, all the insurance companies. Then the FDIC is going to say, hey, wait a minute. Because the FDIC charges the banks. That's how they,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So let's see what happens, because it's going to be a lot of money.
Yeah, let's see if...
I worked for the insurance company for about 12 years.
Okay. Yeah, you know what you're talking about. Absolutely.
Yeah, you watch. It's going to be a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't blame the FDIC. They have enough on their plate. There's going to be a lot of bank failures this year. It's just actually starting to happen right now. We've already seen it locally. So a lot of defaults that are coming through. Commercial loans are not being paid. A lot of mortgages are not being paid. Car loans are not being paid. People losing their jobs. It's not good. So let's go ahead and pivot to the war effort, the Great War. I want to show you something, guys. So actually, it's probably breaking. I don't think you guys actually saw this. So how much do you think this war is costing? Look on the screen. What do you think of 17 days in, a little over 17 days in?
Wasn't it last week she put this up and was 10 or 11?
Yeah, it wasn't even 10 when I first put this up. Yeah, it was like around 6 billion.
10 billion a week.
Yeah, look at this. We're going on $23 billion. Where's this money coming from? $1 billion a day. And Trump is saying, we're going to be here until we get it done. We're never going to get it done. Not at this pace. It has been massively fumbled. Strategy is non-existent. There's no logic here as well. And if you really take what Joe Kent wrote in his resignation letter today, this was all fake news. Trump got, oh my God, this man, I'm going to read you what this man said, because basically he's saying this is Iran never posed a threat. What Trump was told was an absolute lie. So we're going into $23 billion, a $1 billion a day war effort. And we're running out of ammunition. Now, I know Trump has said recently, we have unlimited munitions. That was a lie, guys. I'm sorry to tell you that he lied. He lied. We don't have unlimited munitions. In fact, we are running out of interceptors. We've completely looted South Korea of all their THAAD systems, their Patriot missiles. We went over there and said, we need those back, guys. That we're sorry, South Korea, but we're going to need those back. So South Korea is like shaking in their boots right now. They're trying to cut a deal with Kim Jong-un. It's getting crazy. 23, it's gotten rounded up, $23 billion, costing $1 billion a day. LMFG, where is this money coming from? We're almost $42 trillion in debt. Personal debt is crazy, wild right now. Where is this coming from? You know what this means. Inflation is about to go through the roof. We're not going to get rate cuts. Not good, brother. Not good.
Yeah, Powell talks tomorrow. So, he's 100%. He's leaving it. I don't know how much. I'd say maybe 50% he raises it, and that'll be crazy. I think he's just going to stay status quo. We'll see.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
About 24 hours from now.
I think he's going to go up on the rates. It's not going to be high, maybe 25 basis points. But when you look at the ticker, when you look at how much this war is costing, $1 billion a day, no exit plan. Basically, Trump is dug in. We just dropped 2,500 troops on the island there, which I think that's basically a meat trap. You're not invading Iran with 2,500 troops. I'm sorry, you need north of 400,000 troops, and you're probably going to lose half of those troops because of the topography. We're not set up for guerrilla warfare. I'm sorry. We can bomb the crap out of a lot of stuff. We can spectacularly light up the skies at night, but when it comes to guerrilla warfare, I'm sorry, guys, we're not set up for that. We're just not. So, and we just had Congress ran through a law, an involuntary draft law. So get ready for the draft. It's coming. It's coming to a recruitment office near you. Shit is real right now. And I want to draw your attention to this as well. This is a whale that opened up a massive oil short. $13.8 million oil short today, LMFG. Now, Crypto Rover is reporting this, and I looked this up. There's a screenshot of the actual situation. Now, it may be Crypto Rover that did this. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. He almost made $176 million in profits And this is a total since October 2025. I don't think this conflict is going to end anytime soon, because I don't take Trump as a surrendering type of personality. His ego is too large. He's not going to accept defeat very well. I think he's dug in, but the Joe Kent resignation, I think, is going to shake up the whole situation. And I believe this is why you see this short, because of what Joe said. And we're going to get into what Joe said, because it was amazing what this man said. Now, as we move back to the stock market, and I want to look at the oil. I want to look at oil while we're talking about this, because you see oil is up 3 points already. It's already up 3%, guys. So oil is climbing back up to $100. Reserves are running low once again. Australia, Cuba, well, it's Trump's fault that Cuba's lights are out. He turned the spigot off when he raided, went in there and took control of Venezuela. He told them not to send any more oil to Cuba. That's why Cuba's in the dark. So what do? We're going to send the cavalry. We're your friend. We caused your blackout, but we're going to save you. This is what's going on in Cuba. Cuba is going to become another state of America very, very soon. That's crazy, but that's a whole nother video when it comes to Cuba.
I think that'd be a good thing.
You think so?
Those poor people, yeah, it's pretty ugly over there.
So you think, this is Mark Rubio. This is his pet project. If you want to know what's going on with Cuba, Mark Rubio. This is his pet project. This is something that he wanted Trump to do. This is all Mark Rubio. And apparently he was unhappy as well with the conditions. I think he has family over there as well. So this is his pet project, saving Cuba. It's not good though. I think you're not saving Cuba this way. This is a wrong way to do it, because people are dying. People can't have surgeries right now because there's no electricity, no food, can't cook food, water is bad. I don't think this is how you save Cuba, but that's another situation. But as we look at oil, it is climbing. It is actually pumping over. So that short is going to get annihilated. I don't think it was a great idea to short oil right now, because look at what it's doing. So that short is going to get obliterated, because we're going back up to 100. Brent is already up 104. So I just want to bring that up. I'm going to leave the oil up here while I go into this counterterrorism. He was the lead on this. Now, this gentleman actually quit today, and he left. You want to talk about shitting on your boss's desk after you quit? This is what I think this was. It was crazy what this guy wrote in this resignation letter. And Trump had some very interesting things to say about this resignation letter. So we're going to get into this, man, because this is crazy. Why oil is pumping like crazy. We're probably going to see $100 oil probably in the next 2 days. So that short that I showed you guys, I'm sorry, that guy's going to lose it all. He's going to get obliterated. So you have Joseph Kent, LMFG. Let's get into this. Director, National Counterterrorism Center. He was the director. This is the letter he wrote Donald Trump today. President Trump, after much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as Director of National Counterterrorism Center effectively today. I cannot in good consciousness support the actual ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. I support the values and the actual foreign policy that you campaigned on in 2016, 2020, and 2024, which you enacted in your first term. Until June of 2025, you understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of its precious lives, of our patriots, and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. In your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting us drawn into never-ending wars. You demonstrated this by killing Osama Soleimani and by defeating ISIS. Early in this administration, high-ranking Israeli officials, this is where it gets really meaty, and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your American your America First platform and sowed pro-war sentiments to encourage a war against the Iranian people in the military. This echo chamber was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States, and you should strike absolutely ASAP right now. There was a clear path to a swift victory. This is what Trump was told. This was a lie, and is the same tactic that the Israelis used to draw us into a disastrous Iraq war that cost our nation lives and thousands of our best men and women. We cannot make this mistake again, but we have, unfortunately. As a veteran who deployed to combat 11 times, if you're talking Joseph Kent here, this is what he wrote. And as a Gold Star husband as well, who lost my beloved wife Shannon in a war manufactured by Israel, I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cause of American lives. I pray that you will reflect upon what we are doing in Iran and who we are doing it for. The time for bold action is now, Mr. President. You can reverse course, and chart a new pathway for our nation, or you can allow us to slip further towards decline and chaos. You hold the cards, Mr. President. It was an honor to serve you in your administration and to serve our great nation. Signed, Joseph Kent, Director, National Counter-Terrorism Center. LMFG, your take. This is crazy. But we knew this, right? We understand what's going on. Most of us do.
Right, yeah. And to me, it's his personal feelings too. You know what I mean? A lot of this, I don't know. I think we were drawn in, but at the same time, look at what these guys have been building over the last, 20 years. And all they've been saying, that to America, that's to Israel. They hate everybody. They're terrorists. I don't know. And the IRGC, I looked this up. They have like a couple 100,000, like 190,000 soldiers. Yeah. But they've always said that they have 600,000 volunteers. They just got to say the right word. So, like you said, we're sending Marines on the ground there. They got bunkers everywhere, and that land is so vast. It's huge. To try to go in there and cover, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea.
No. They got to somehow negotiate with these guys and put this out. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to win that ground invasion. I think it's a trap. But Trump actually came out today, and he responded to this letter very, very quickly. So let's go ahead and check him out.
Your director of national counterterrorism, Joe Kent, he just resigned today. He said he can't support your conflict with Iran. What's your reaction to that? And did you?
Well, I read his statement. I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. I didn't know him well, but I thought he seemed like a pretty nice guy. But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out, because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. The question is whether or not they wanted to do something about it. And many people, many of the greatest military scholars are saying for years that presidents should have taken out Iran because they wanted a nuclear weapon. They were, if we didn't do the attack, or if, I'll go a step further, if I didn't terminate the Iran nuclear deal given to us, one of the worst deals ever made by Barack Hussein Obama. Remember when they sent Boeing 757s over there, loaded with cash? Hundreds of millions of dollars. You would have been very happy. This was a wonderful, they said hundreds of millions. People forget that. Does anybody remember? Right? You remember?
Hey, that went to Ukraine, right? You remember that? I think some of that money, I don't know. I think that may have been the money that Joe Biden sent over. I don't know. I think he's talking about that Ukraine shipment. I could be wrong, though.
Remember, hundreds of millions of dollars in a Boeing 757. I think they had two of them loaded. They took the seats out and they put cash. And it was so much that there wasn't a bank in Virginia, Maryland, or D.C. that had any money left. They stripped them of all their money. put it
Damn.
into place, sent it to Iran, almost as ransom. That's not going to happen with Trump. And nobody ever did anything about it.
No, sorry, I guess it went to Iran. Wow.
Nobody ever said anything. Can you imagine if I did that? So they've been a threat for a long time, but they've really been a threat. If I didn't terminate Obama's horrible deal that he made, the Iran nuclear deal, you would have had a nuclear war 4 years ago. You would have had nuclear holocaust, and you would have had it again if we didn't bomb the site. So when somebody is working with us that says they didn't think Iran was a threat, we don't want those people because, and there are some people I guess that would say that, but they're not smart people or they're not savvy people. Iran was a tremendous threat. And virtually every NATO nation, and this is the thing, if they told me it wasn't a threat, and therefore they don't want to help, but when they say it was a threat, and it was a major threat, every one of them, I think every one of them, I don't know if one that said they're not a threat, but when they say it was a threat, but we're not going to help, I think they're very foolish. You know, it's interesting.
So, we'll start right there. It's, sometimes I think, a lot of the information we're getting, I mean, it's meant to kind of scramble our thoughts, create a misinformation atmosphere, maybe the president has it right. I don't know. Sometimes I think maybe what we think is going on is the actual reverse. And I think that's done intentionally to keep the public from actually, knowing what the left hand is doing. You know how you kind of hide what your right hand is doing so the left hand doesn't know, that type of thing. And that's to prevent anything from getting out or getting to the wrong people. So you can, you can have that element of surprise. But I just don't see the element of surprise in the Middle East right now. I see us getting our butts kicked, being very, there's no strategy there. I feel like Iran has the upper hand. But at the same time, I'm listening to this and I'm like, maybe the president is doing the right thing, but it looks like it's the wrong thing. I don't know, man. What's your take? Because I think Trump really, he's not going to say it out loud. Though. I wish Joseph would have stayed. He's actually, I expect him to talk like this, but when it comes to the threat, honestly, I don't think anybody's going to fire off any nukes. I think that would be detrimental. I don't think anybody in the Middle East wants to decimate not only the region, for 10 to 15 years down the road, but I don't think they want to just destroy all the oil production as well. I think that would be stupid. So the nuclear threat, I never believed that. I think those days are over. Nobody's going to fire off a nuclear bomb. All right. And you might have some rogue tactical nukes that may go off if somebody gets really pissed off and they kind of leak through the actual, cracks, maybe come through the border or something like that. But as far as nations with these large kiloton, I don't think they're going to drop those. What's your take on what he's saying? Do you think he really cares? Obviously, he's saying that it doesn't matter. They expected this. What's your take, bro?
Yeah, and like you said, I don't see anybody dropping something like that. Because you're talking, what it could be hundreds of thousands of people wind up being killed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, like you said, you're talking 15, 20 years. You can't go there.
Yeah.
The radiation. I don't know.
And not to mention the oil infrastructure, all that production is done.
Yeah, that's huge for China, the whole UK, everything. Crazy.
It is. I mean, China's saying they got enough oil. They came out and said, we really don't give a shit. We got enough oil. I think Trump said the same thing. We got plenty of oil over here. I think both of those leaders are lying through their teeth. But they have to, give that perspective of superiority, that we're okay, guys. I'm the leader. You don't have anything to worry about. Let's let them go ahead and lob their missiles. They'll run out of munitions. And then sooner or later, somebody's going to cry uncle and we'll be okay. For the time being, we got enough reserves. We're good. I think they're lying. I'm sorry. The market, you can't bullshit the market. You can bullshit a little bit, you can manipulate it, but at some point in time, the market is going to be, it's going to shake its head. It's going to be like, you know what, you're full of shit. And then the prices are going to go up. The market is going to correct. It's going to do what markets do, free markets do. You can only bullshit the market for so long. I think we're getting to that point to where you can see Brent is up almost $110 and you see the crude WTI is starting to get back up to 100. The market is basically saying fuck off. We're tired of the manipulation. We're tired of the derivatives manipulation. We're tired of the suppression. You cannot fool the markets for so long. And I think you're going to see that happen in the stock market as well. Now, We do know that Trump reached out to NATO, reached out to a lot of nations, and they basically said, fuck off. This is not our war. We're good. Now Trump is like, you know what? You fuck off. Let's dissolve NATO. This is what he said about the rejection. He got rejected by a lot of nations. All right. I think the Dutch Navy, I didn't even know they had a Navy. They said they'll send one ship. That's laughable, right? This is what he said about the rejection.
And they don't want to help us, which is amazing. I mean, amazing. And I didn't do a full court press because I think if I did, they probably would be. But we don't need help. You know, we've that war has been long prosecuted as far as I'm concerned, almost from day one. We knocked out many of these things. We knocked out the Navy essentially in a couple of days. But I was surprised to see that NATO, while they agree that it was a very important thing to do, they agree fully. Nobody said, oh, you shouldn't do it. They would have had a nuclear weapon within 1 month of when we had the B-2 bombers bomb the nuclear potential. I call it the nuclear dust. So I think NATO's making a very foolish mistake. And I've long said that, you know, I wonder whether or not NATO would ever be there for us. So this was a great test because we don't need them, but they should have been there.
So if we don't need them, LMFG, why are we making a big deal? Why are we reaching out? This is my thing. It's like a lot of double talk going on. It's like, we don't need help. Why is he begging for it? And why is there's disappointment there on the face? There's a lot of double talk. There's a lot of a here and there. Shit just don't make sense, brother. And then the way these nations are like, you know what? We're not coming to help you. I'm sorry. You started this shit. You're screwing everything up. Our production is crazy. You got Australia that's like crying uncle right now. The UK is crying uncle. It's crazy right now. Have you been keeping up on what's going on in Australia? It's bad, bro. I think they're dependent up to 90% of the oil coming out the Gulf. Dude, it's bad. It's so bad in Australia right now. But that's not widely reported because that's a negative that looks bad on Trump when you report the actual outliers and the residual damage. The collateral damage is not just local there within Iran. That whole region is in flux when it comes to energy. So it's not good. So we'll see how this rolls downhill. Now, with all of this going on, I see this pop up, and I want your take on this before we get into the giveaway because we're going to close the show in a little bit. Trump is offering. Sorry, I had a little hiccup there. Listen to this. Trump is offering private national security briefings to donors through a fundraising email from a super PAC, promising unfiltered updates on the threats facing America. The fact that this is really happening is mind-blowing, unquote. This is from Stu Peters. There's an actual video. CNN actually reported this as well. We're about to check this report out. It's about a minute long. LMFG. This is unprecedented. The president is offering private national security briefings for donors to the super PAC. Have you ever heard of anything like this? We're talking, you know, I don't know how sensitive this information is. This is crazy, bro. He's commoditizing national security information. I mean, this is lunacy, bro. This is why everybody's living. This is why everybody's like, what the fuck is going on in this administration? Check this out, man. This blew me away. This blew me away. The commoditization of private national security information.
Growing criticism tonight after a new fundraising email from President Trump's Political Action Committee used an image from last Saturday's dignified transfer honoring 6 U.S. soldiers killed in the U.S. war with Iran. The email also promises access to private national security briefings. Let's bring in CNN's Andrew Kaczynski, who joins us now. Andrew,
Crazy.
You've been digging into this. What are you learning?
What the hell, man?
So this email was sent on Thursday night by Donald Trump's Political Action Committee. It's called Never Surrender. That is the PAC that supports Donald Trump. It's taken over for his campaign. This email was sent out Thursday night, and it's like you said, it promised private national security briefings. And in the middle of that email, there you can see it right there, is that photo from the dignified transfer of the remains.
I'm gonna pause this. Do you see that, MFG? That was the email. It says, claim your spot. I made a special announcement to the public an hour ago. For the very first time, unprecedented, I'm opening up spots on the national security briefing membership. Commoditizing national security information. Have you ever saw anything like this?
No, and I'm kind of lost in the sauce there. How?
What the fuck is going on, bro? I mean, seriously, what in the hell is going on? This is crazy. This is why everybody's like, you know, all up in hands. It's like, what the hell is going on? Is he okay? Is he sick?
Is this real, or is somebody?
No, this is real. This is real. Check it out.
Of those soldiers who were killed in Kuwait in that Iranian drone strike, and right there it's sandwiched in between two links that say claim your spot, and if you click on that, it takes you to a donation page for President Trump's political action committee. It's got a lot of people outraged online, a lot of Democrats, a lot of members of Congress, a lot of former national security officials who are angry, saying that, you know, this is these soldiers were killed in a war that Donald Trump started, and now they're being used in a fundraising email by his political action committee. We did reach out to the White House to ask about this yesterday, and the Republican National Committee, and we didn't hear.
This is I'm about to fucking throw up, bro. Look at this shit. It says these final spots are reserved for my strongest supporters. You're one of them. This is no ordinary membership. This is bullshit, bro.
Back from either of them asking about this email.
And Andrew, to your knowledge, have presidential security briefings been offered to supporters before?
No, they haven't, and it's not even entirely clear what's going on here, because when you click the link in the actual email, it takes you to a donation page for his PAC asking, and then there's all of this like text from Trump on the actual donation page in like large font, asking you to donate like $5, $10, $50,000. It's not clear what this is going to. It's not clear if there are any national security briefings like it says in the email. It really just looks like a way for his PAC to fundraise, frankly.
All right.
This is crazy, bro.
With his latest reporting. Thanks for that. We appreciate it.
Yeah. So, wow. We're commoditizing soldiers' deaths. We're commoditizing national security information. This is bad.
Hear when the media asks Trump about it and see what he says.
Hey, well, you know what he's going to say. He's probably going to say, you're trash. You're garbage media, just like he did ABC. He's going to scream at him. Dude, this is bad. This is so bad. I don't think it gets any worse. This is why everybody has a problem with Trump right now. You know, and this is low. This you can't go any lower than that. And then the fact that he's giving out, you know, national security, briefing information, there has to be a law against that. See, this is why it's going to be so hard to impeach this guy. I'm sorry. Midterms are going to be a disaster. It's going to be a bloodbath. And I think they're going to impeach this guy. J.D. Vance as well, the whole cabinet. Hegseth, he's out of there. And there may be even some criminal charges because we have international crimes that are being committed right now. Big time. So, listen, I don't wish anything bad on anybody, but he's digging his own hole. I'm sorry. And when you send out emails like that, he needs to come out. If he had nothing to do with this, if this is just something that's being done third party, he needs to come out, right? And he needs to actually defend himself and say, I don't know anything about this. And shut it down. This is bad.
Yeah, that's what I just said, man. I want to see what he says.
Yeah, I want to bring that up before we got out of here because I'm pretty sure a lot of you probably missed this and they're trying to squelch this. CNN came out, and I've verified this so many times before I even brought it up. It's crazy. By the way, did you catch the fire up in Manhattan? There's a fire. This is something that kind of got my attention here. I don't like seeing this, especially in the New York region. We know this too well, these scenes too well, but this is what we saw here. We had a fire here. Now this is in Manhattan, so hopefully everything is okay. It looks like something like a standard accident there. I don't think anything was like done mischievously, but it kind of looks like something like a HVAC system, one of those high stage HVAC systems that kind of caught fire. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, that's HVAC. That's what that black smoke is. That's bad stuff, man.
Right.
That's very cancerous. That's nasty.
Well, we got asbestos up there too.
I've said it before. I said, you ever see a transformer in a power room and it's leaking? Don't go near that shit. It's nasty. I'm surprised the firemen are staying on the roof right there. Yeah,
I saw that when I was looking at that. I looked at it several times, and they got respirators though. So, you know, I think I saw some tanks on the back. So they're pretty safe, I believe. But yeah, that's what's going on in Manhattan. So we definitely don't want to see that. We don't want to see any type of fires anywhere near this area because it's too reminiscent of what happened. In the actual climate right now, we definitely don't want to see any smoke or any like emergency vehicles piling up downtown, especially in Manhattan. We don't want to see that. But that's what's going on around right now. So we're going to get into I don't see any really breaking news here. Let me see if we yeah, it's nothing really bumping. I told you guys about Arbitrum ecosystem entering institutional phase, which is very, very good. $2.1 billion in TVL. Really decent. Hyperliquid, $3.64 billion whale, which is almost pushed that up to $50. You have a lot of whales buying Hyperliquid right now. I just want to bring that up. So the perk markets are starting to percolate. A lot of wishful thinking, guys. So, you know, God bless. Hopefully everybody is okay there in Manhattan, and hopefully that fire is already extinguished. So let's get to the giveaway. So I'm going to make sure we got everybody on this wheel. We're going to get this giveaway going so we can have closing thoughts, guys. And by the way, your Bitcoin price is retreating again. It's 74.6. So I think we're probably going to consolidate until we get some weird news again, because, you know, as long as Trump keeps saying positive things about de-escalation, which I don't think we're going to de-escalate anytime soon. I think you're going to see an escalation. Iran is still bombing. Israel still bombing Iran. The Navy is still, I think, 1,000 kilometers outside of the region. So our Navy is they don't want any part of this particular situation in the Straits. And I think the admirals are very smart. Do not move any closer. I think they can launch those missiles from 300 kilometers out. So Iran's military is not decimated. They still have the speedboat. They still land mines. Don't mess around. And I think the admirals are very smart. They're not stupid. And the other NATO countries and our allies are like, you started it, you finish it. I got you, Jay. I'm going to put you on the wheel, brother. So let's get this giveaway on this, and let's just see the institutions. Michael Saylor, you know, a lot of the huge whales in the fund, man, they're holding this price, and they just bought the dip because they're long-term thinkers. A lot of the buyers of Bitcoin that have pushed this up to $74,000, they're thinking long-term and they're betting hard on a solution for the Mideast situation, the Middle East Gulf situation, and passage of the Clarity Act, passage of regulation. They're betting on that. They're betting on normalization going into the third and fourth quarter. They're betting on all of this tumultuous activity to subside. LMFG, this is a very risky bet that they're doing, you know, and God bless them. But I think it's going to go in a different direction because I don't see any de-escalation. I see oil prices going north of 150 per barrel. And I don't see a resolution because Iran is dug in. I'm going to populate this wheel. What's your take, brother?
That was an awful lot, yeah.
It's a lot, man. There's so much going on.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is. I hope somehow they negotiate and this gets put out with Iran quick. I don't know, but it don't look good. You know, we'll see. You know, that's all I can say, man. Crazy.
It's
and we'll
crazy
see what
time.
happens with Powell tomorrow. You know, I think dot plot and all comes out. So
what do you think? What do you think is going to sway? Is it going to sway towards just stagnant behavior, kind of like stand put, or is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? What do you think? And by the way, Suzu says Trump has started World War III. I think so too, brother. But go ahead, brother.
yeah. And did you see that? She says she's not stepping down. She has breast cancer, stage 1.
Who is that?
Susie
Wiles. Oh, so that's what it is. So she's just taking some time off.
No, she said she's going to stay there. She's going to stay at the White House.
Oh,
probably,
okay.
24/7 doctor, I guess.
I got you. Okay. Got you.
But they said they caught it real early, stage 1 or something.
Okay.
So.
God bless her. God bless her. Prayers to Susie.
Yeah, we need her.
Yeah, absolutely. She kind of balances the room.
Try to calm this guy down. I don't know.
Dude, if Melina can't calm him down, I don't think Susie can.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I think his demeanor is quite a bit different compared to his first term.
Right.
And I think that's all her. I really do. I remember I said it as soon as it started. I was like, because he did make a few comments, and if you watch her, she's with him all the time, and she rolls her eyes, and then she probably scolds them when they go into the Oval Office. So we'll see. I just hope this shit gets put out quick. That's all.
Well, most definitely.
They get a shitload of oil over to Cuba ASAP.
You're damn right, brother. That is crazy. That should get more, publicity. I think the news outlets should be, sending reporters locally there. I mean, because it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Cutting the oil off right there. I mean, people can't even have their surgeries, emergency surgeries right now. The hospitals are shut down. Our emergency power is exhausted.
They got to put that out immediately. Hopefully there's a boat on the way there now. A ship.
Well, this is what Trump did say. He said the cavalry is on the way, but it's really sinister. He's the reason why the lights are out. So he shuts the lights off when he invaded Venezuela, right? He cut the oil off, the energy off, and then he's like, okay, I'm your savior. I'm coming, guys. I know I caused this situation, but I'm your savior. Cavalry's coming. They're like, fuck off, man. But this is the same thing they try to do to Greenland. But what did Greenland say? Fuck off. We don't need your health care. We don't need your army. We don't need your money. We don't need the $100,000 per person. We're good. He backed off of Greenland pretty quickly. So Cuba's in the crosshairs. And that's Mark Rubio's pet project. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Now some say it's good for Cuba. I've talked to a lot of Cubans. I've been talking to them in these forums. And there's a lot of people in Cuba that are for what Trump is doing. I have to say that. Even though it's egregious, even though it's really weird, a lot of people are dying, Oxygen machines are not pumping oxygen right now. It's a lot of people that die because of this, guys. But a lot of people are for this. They can't wait for Trump to show up. They can't wait for the cavalry. They can't wait to become a state. They're tired of what they've been going through. This is the consensus. So, it's crazy. So it is what it is. So let's go ahead and get this actual giveaway going. We did get the wheel fully populated, guys. I got you, Jay, on here. I put the new entries. I'm going to double check once again too, because I don't want to miss anybody for this. We're going to be giving out some soul. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, the update. And let's see, Jake, I got you. And let me go ahead and I'm going to make sure you guys see that. You should get the notifications that'll tell you that you are on the wheel. And we're going to spin it. We're going to get through members. Again, I hope you guys like the member content that was put out for you this week. And we're going to get my top actual 2026 long-term holds. We're going to get that video out too as well, because there's a couple of ecosystems I want you guys to focus on. Members only. Members only. Are you buying that new Aster coin for the blockchain? Are you going to buy that? Are you going to go get some Aster? Because I think that's that coin is going to be the exchange of medium for that. And they're just mirroring what Hyperliquid has done. They're basically copying and pasting exactly what Hyperliquid is doing. Very redundant tech. These perps make a lot of money. But as far as Aster, are you going to buy Aster? They actually have their own chain now. They're independent. What do you think? Is it a buy or is it a pass?
Yeah, right now I haven't really looked at it, but I'm in a no buy zone right now. It is what it is,
Yeah, I'm not buying Aster right now.
It's springtime. You got a lot of stuff to do around the house. 30 bags of mulch and fertilizer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Grass killer, all kinds of good stuff.
I might set the limit sale. I might set the limit sale on the bottom. And we'll see what's up. We'll see how it goes. So, guys, I think I got everybody. I'm doing another double check, but I'm pretty sure we got a fully populated wheel here. I don't see anybody. So we're going to shut that off. And let's spin this wheel. I'll give out some Aster today. How about that? I bet you the guys are like, hell no. Where is that? Hold on. Where's this price at? I won't even see here. We're going to give out soul, guys. I'm just BSing. I'm just curious, where's Aster at right now? Because I just launched that mainnet, man. That token is probably going to start. Oh, it is. It's actually up. It's actually up almost 6%. So when they stealth launch, and I think that's the way you launch things these days. Stealth launch your projects, guys. Don't tell the whole world. Don't get KOL involved. Don't announce it just to build up the hype. If you're confident in what you're building, stealth launch it. If you build something unique, and if you build something that's going to kick ass, stealth launch it. Put your money where your mouth is. Let's see how good of a dev team you really are. Let's see if you're really unique. Let's see if you really build something that's fucking badass. Stealth launch it. That's how you're going to know. And that's what they did, so and people are digging it because it's getting pretty close to $1 again. So if you bought, what was that ATA to LMFG? We're talking Aster. I think it was 8 cents. That was back in September 2025. It got up to $2, so I think it was down 50%, a little bit over 50%. So if you bought that dip, I believe at 50 cents, you're looking pretty good today. Yeah, you made some profit. So I think this thing may go over $1 because it's mainnet launch. So yeah, let's go ahead and spin this wheel. Let's get some winners. Right, so I think it's gonna be Logan. I hadn't seen Logan win in a while. So Logan G910, hand clap to you, brother. Hand clap to Logan. All I need is a solo dress Logan, and you know, make sure it's a fresh one too. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I've seen you in a while on the winners wheel. So congratulations to Logan G910. Let's go and get 2 more. Let's see who we have. I think it's going to be Wanderer 882. Hadn't seen Wanderer in a while. Melina Rupin, you just missed it. Maybe you'll get it the next time. So we have Wanderer 8822. Man, we got some winners I haven't seen in a while. This is beautiful. So we're going to need 1 more. Let's go. This is cool. I like seeing members that I haven't seen before in a while. I hadn't seen Wanderer in a while. So LMFG, I think your luck has ran out, brother. Because I think Kruti 1245 is going to be the 3rd winner. Absolutely. Hand clap to Kruti 1245. So let's go ahead and round these winners up. And LMFG, you want to talk about that giveaway you did too with yours? I mean, you did some really cool shit with your giveaway, and I want you to talk about it before we get out of here. So Logan G910, you're going to be the first winner. Hand clap to you. And then we got Wanderer 8822. Hand clap to you, sir. And to round the winner group up, I'm sorry, Kruti 1245. Congratulations. Absolutely fantastic. And we're going to do it again next week too as well. All you have to do is interact. Obviously, you got to become a member so you can see the member content, interact with it. Let me know what you feel about the video or the post. And then that's your ticket to get on the wheel to win prizes every week. And it's cash. You know what I'm saying? I may give away I've been trying to do this for a while. One of these weeks this month, I'm going to give away some hardware, a helium miner, to a lucky winner on the wheel. That's going to be really, really cool. All I need is a PO box to ship it to you. We'll do it next day, so you get it the next day. You don't have to wait a week for the shit. And you can plug it up. And if you need help on how to set it up, DM me and I'll help you with the setup as well. So hand clap to the memory group, man.
Nice.
Absolutely. I've been trying to do it, man, for a year. I'm going to actually do it this month because, yeah, I think it is very cool. Very cool. Passive income is where it's at, brother. So you want to tell us about that giveaway you did? And because we saw the audio, you gave us the audio of it. It was really, really cool. I don't know if you want to play that right now, but tell them what you did, brother. I thought it was really cool what you did, man. Good shit.
Yeah, I can play it.
Yeah, play that.
Give me a second. Yeah, what I did, I've won like 4 or 5 times over the last couple of years with Lounge. And,
3 in a row. Actually, 3 in a row just recently.
Crazy. So what I did is give half. Because I didn't sell it when it was at $200, I held on to it. But I gave $50 to one of our neighbors. They got a couple kids. And they were all happy. I tried getting her to sound a little more enthusiastic, but she was like kind of embarrassed and stuff. Yeah, I got the recording up. I can play it. Yeah,
you know what? I'm gonna do a hand clap to you, brother. That was very cool. Yeah. What you did, that was very cool.
There you go.
Go. Michael from Mindset Matters, LMFG, just handed me $50. He says it's half of his winnings from you over the years. Thank you both, and God bless.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was going to do it to a stranger, and I was actually I went to walk up to this one woman, and she like grabbed her pocketbook.
Oh goddamn!
I was going to rob her or something.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah.
I could be intimidating if I'm walking, because I stand 6'4.5", you know, and I look.
She thought you were going to take the pocket, but that's crazy.
Do it. And I said, you know what? My neighbors up the street, they got a couple little kids. Rock and roll. There you go.
Man, that's beautiful, bro. When you said that, when we heard it, I was like, man, that's some cool shit. So very, very cool. So, LMFG, you want, parting takes, man, and then we can get out of here, brother. What's your take on Bitcoin? We're going up or down? And I want to get your take on the complete, gambit when it comes to all season, altcoin movement, what's coming up for NFTs. I want your whole take on this, brother.
Yeah, I really do think it's just going to take time until this Clarity Act goes through.
Yeah.
And all it is about Easter, I don't see it. Then I think it'll get vetoed unless they take out so many of those amendments. And I don't see that happening. The bank lobbyists, they're going nuts right now.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
A lot of money. They're going up against, Armstrong. And there's a couple other guys that are behind them, but we'll see. It's so much money. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
You got trillions of dollars coming into this over the next year or two, man. We'll see what happens. Me, I'm just sitting back and watching, eating my popcorn, watching, waiting for the Clarity Act. Yeah. Rock and roll.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. And clap to you for showing up too as well. Again, I was looking at this RSI and I'm like, at first people were really, really confused at what to do. They didn't know what to do with their money, right? But as you can see, everybody's like buying a lot of crypto right now. A lot of dips are being bought. We're in overbought territory. Remember when we looked at this a week ago, it was even. Everybody was kind of confused in the middle. We're in the middle of overbought and oversold. Everybody's rushing into it. And this is very scary to me. It's like everybody's really buying into this pump. You can see it with the relative strength index. Everybody is following the pump, right there. Please, guys, this is not the time to empty the pocketbook and go all in. Please, because this is what I'm seeing when I look at this index. So, be mindful. I know a lot of you are smart out there, especially the members. You guys are smart. You know not to do that. So, because we have a lot to clear. We need language cleared. There's a lot of work to be done. So, with that being said, be very careful with your money and be careful in the streets too as well. Keep your head on the swivel, like I always say. Watch your wallets. A lot of scams. Watch your TG. Don't click links. Watch your email. There's a lot of phishing going on, all right? So if you get PayPal emails, weird Coinbase emails, don't click them. Just delete them, and we'll see you guys on the next show. Take it easy.